What's going on, guys? It's GBP, baby. Welcome back to another video. And yeah, what an interesting day we've had today. Not precisely as we outlined yesterday, but we simply keep calm and adapt. And we're going to start on the weekly just to get an idea of where price may be drawing to after the very expansive day we had on Thursday. So I'm going to start by marking out a implied fair value gap from the buy side of the weekly chart, which is here. And I'm going to drag that through because you can see that price is now trading quite aggressively through this. Now, this isn't a typical fair value gap. For example, this isn't a fair value gap that you see here. This is an implied fair value gap, which ICT's only mentioned like once or twice. And it's just showing that price is only delivered up here on the upside because we only have this upside volume within this range. And there's two wicks beside it that have like failed to fill it in. I don't know the exact like mechanics of the implied fair value gap, but after studying and backtesting, I'm aware that this has relevance. So once we traded through this down last week, this implied fair value gap would have been expected to act as a resistance, but you can see we've traded right through it and violated the 50% level, which is significant because it means that tomorrow we will probably likely want to continue to trade higher and dig deeper into filling this range. So that's just something to consider. When we drop down to lower time frames, you'll be able to see more detail of what I mean by that. So here's that implied fair value gap I was talking about on the weekly. And you can see how price just aggressively traded through, running out Tuesday's high, trading through this imbalance as well. When you see price trading through imbalances like volume imbalances like this, when there's literal gaps in the market delivery, when price trades through it the way we saw it do today, it suggests an extreme bullishness because these should be providing resistance and it's failing to do that. So price is obviously wanting to go up. You can see we traded through that. And now I've simply got my eyes set on this bearish order block here. Now I'm looking at all three up close candles before the down move. So I'm going to be looking at the low first to get traded to as a target. And then if we do manage to trade through that comfortably, it'll then simply be the opening of this order block from this candle to here. And then you can see we deliver to the downside. So mainly I'm watching this level. I'd like to see how price reacts once we get there. If we get a reversal, then it's likely we'll pull back into our range to finish off Friday. And again, probably consolidate in this implied inversion fair value gap that's highlighted in purple. So moving into the new day, I'm expecting us to trade higher, reach this bearish order block, and then this should pull us back towards this implied fair value gap. Let's go down to the 4 hour, and you'll see again how price ran up into this gap, took out highs over here. That's significant as well. And you'll see how that imbalance on the daily, the blue one I highlighted, lines up nicely with this bearish order block. Now that we've traded through it on the upside, we should expect this to provide resistance. So we can watch in the new day if price does come down to this blue, but bearish order block, it should act as a bullish order block. So we can look to be potentially getting longs from that position or just finding resistance in general because it price is suggesting that it wants to push deeper into, remember, that daily bearish order block. So that's what I'm looking for tomorrow. Honestly, after seeing today, very low probability. So definitely not going to be risking much. You'll see there's also a fair value gap resting just below that daily level. That's marked out in black. Fair value gap right here. So price may seek to fill that in the new day, especially with high impact news. And there's also a bearish order block there on the hourly as well. So it'd be nice to see if price can just continue higher. We might even make the high of the day early and then have a down day, as in price may retrace and start pulling back into this range. But like I said, after today, definitely just be more cautious because it seems like they're doing like some craziness right now. Let's go over to GBP USD, and we'll start there on the weekly as well. Obviously you can see how we've now treated this wick as a rejection block and traded aggressively lower. So what are we running towards? Well, we simply have to look to the last down close candle, which is here, bullish order block. So again, if dollar does manage to trade higher, then we can anticipate GBP to attempt to try and trade down into this bullish order block. We'll now go to the daily, and you'll see our price just been making its way down all day. Here's yesterday, we traded higher, failing to take out Tuesday's high, and then aggressively trading lower, running out Tuesday's low. Again, implied fair value gap right here. This is the exact same format as what I showed you on the weekly on dollar. Definitely something to study, guys. So if you do some back testing, you'll be able to identify these and see what I mean. But implied fair value gap right here, so price may seek to go down here. But ideally, I definitely want to see this week's low get taken out. So I'm going to put sell side liquidity below there, as I do believe price is going to seek to go below that. And it'll be nice to see if we can reach that fair value gap, which is lined up with that bullish order block on the weekly. So although we've had a day which wasn't necessarily anticipated, we can still easily lay out and understand where price is likely draw into, and we need to remember that and simply just adjust to the conditions. If we go to the 1 hour, again, you can see a bullish order block lined up nicely with that daily time frame order block. So yeah, should be interesting to say the least. We'll finish on euro. We'll start on the weekly here, and again, crazy expansion to the downside after trading to the 50% level off this wick. Something to take note of. I'll show you, slightly wicked above that, and then we traded to the 50% level. Oh, this is the weekly. Yep. Okay, so we traded to the 50% level, sorry, off last week's wick, just more hawked above it, and now you can see we reacted by trading lower. So where are we expecting euro to reach for? Again, we need to identify some kind of imbalance or bullish order block for it to trade into. So I am looking at this fair value gap right here, slightly implied. Again, it's hard to explain, but there's only delivery on the upside here, so I'm looking at this as a fair value gap. So price may want to get down there depending on how weak euro is. If we go to the daily, you'll see that lines up with the daily bullish order block. So now we've got two PD arrays on two different time frames matching each other. We have a fair value gap on the weekly lining up with a bullish order block. So this should provide nice support for euro as it trades down into that. Once we go to the 4 hour, you'll see some beautiful swing lows down here that are likely going to get targeted for sell stops, and then a nice fair value gap within that weekly fair value gap and within the order block on the daily. So again, when you see like overlappings like this, it's very high probability, so it'll be interesting to see if price can manage to dip its toes inside of that tomorrow. Let's go to the daily one more time. In terms of the highest I'd expect price to trade tomorrow, I doubt it's going to want to rebalance with this level. If we go to the 4 hour, let's take a look. Technically, this is a breaker because we do have a high, a low, a high, and then price broke to the downside. So depending on if we do get any kind of retracements, which we probably won't, looking at how how aggressive we're moving, if it does retrace, this is the highest I'd expect price to trade before we see any resistance. But it's not looking like price is going to offer any kind of retracement right now, purely just because of how heavily bearish it is and how quick we can see it's running towards these sell stops here and potentially down here as well. So yeah, that's going to be everything, guys. Hope you found this insightful. Don't forget to join the Discord. I'll be back on Sunday with another weekly review, and yeah, don't forget to smash subscribe. Peace.